All right, good evening, guys. Ken of Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for June 13th, 2023, starting with hybrid swing portfolio and 30-minute charts, beginning with Alcoa. This is our 5-day look back in the blue box, the low and the high. So we made a new high today, and this was the low of that 5 days. So previous trade was a scratch. Today there was a gap up. It broke above the RL10. So this is an emerging dragon. I let it move a wrist box, standard wrist box, off that emerging dragon. It ran all the way up to a new 30-day high. I left it on as long as I could to still preserve a no-lose plus dinner for two. Could have pulled an R out, but I was given the metals room to run today, and ended up giving back about an extra R. But it stabilized at a nice price that was above the previous resistance. So I like this going forward. But I had to get paid a little bit today. So AI just continues to crush. Yesterday I briefed how I held my nose and bought it, and today it did nothing but just take off. When it broke above the resistances and had a little over an R in hand, put a second position on, and it exploded higher. I was torn about taking it right here. I was committed to the dragon as a to keep the second position in, locked in. It recovered. I think I could have played that better with an exit and then waiting. But this thing has been gappy, and I like the fact that we got two positions in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're about 6R in hand in AI on two positions. And this thing is at a really crucial level. I want to just stop and notice for a second where we are. This was a very important win today that broke above that previous recovery high. So it's got to get above. If it gets above 44, this thing is gone. It is long gone. That's really powerful pattern right there. Summer, fall, and then it will break into summer shortly. And then, as you can see, there is no resistance until you go way back into 2021. So this is the complete recovery in the winning position in AI, the company. So keep that one on your long-term memory banks. If we look at the 3-day, all good, new high. 9-day, very, very good. So that's how you trade up into those positions. So today was excellent. And we're two positions in, free and clear. Caterpillar, second day of strong gains, and we're about 3R into that one and not looking back. Cliff, put the second position on, that's about 5R and strong. Chevron, CVS, no trade. Dish, no trade. That one's getting ready to come off the list. This one I couldn't get out of this hole to save my life today. So this is Devon, and there was that long slide, and then a big gap up, and it ran all the way up and started to fail. So I got short here, scratched it, tried to get long, lost half an hour, and just couldn't get out of my own way. So that was... I made a lot of sawdust in the wood shop on that one today. It actually felt worse than it looks now in retrospect. But there you are. All right, this is Electronic Arts. So just to recall, we had this really nice short, a continuation short, which I let run until it became basically a scratch. Then today, it broke above that PSAR flip, gapped up to here. I put the standard risk on it. It went up, And when it rolled over, I came back and took it at the edge of the dragon like we do, and that's about 1R. And it's in the middle of that trading range, so there was no reason to hold out for more. EEM, emerging markets, just doing well, and that one is following the U.S. And now we're 4 days into that on that single position. The single position allows me to be a little more sanguine with that, a little easier and lighter on the reins, and I'm ready to convert that to a daily bar now. It's got 4R in hand. We have, 1, 2, 3 comfortable levels of support above our entry. So now I feel like I could just leave that alone. And the daily chart is looking pretty good. Now, this is so choppy. Notice how big those gaps are. That's what happens when those large markets are trading overnight, and then you get the gap. That's why I would rather take it when I can during the day. This little gap up in recovery, that doji could be a turning point, but you'll recall that our entry was 4 days ago. So our entry was down in this space, resting comfortably on the dragon, and we've got a nice little 4R win in hand here. So as long as this stays above, call it 39.80, that's the support level. It used to be resistance, and now that should be support, and that gives us a little cushion. So I think your stop should be at 39.80 on EEM if you're thinking about converting this to the long run. Now, the nice thing is, now that this is past this resistance level, we can now go to really here, this region of where the dragon's body is and between the peace are. That's really the target for the next significant resistance. So this has another dollar to go. That's another, say, almost 3% of potential gains. So we'll see. It's been lagging the U.S., but if the U.S. strength is now giving some courage to the internationals, then so be it. So I'm playing that one with a light hand on a single position. Okay. Ethereum recovered a little bit today, no trade. Mexico, I initiated the COTA 2 when winter turned to spring with the standard risk, and it closed well. Brazil, there was little to no follow through, and I had to get out with a no lose plus dinner for 2. This was failure to follow through, and so we just get out of that one. Intel, I hated this. I hated getting out of this one because when I got in, I just loved this because it was above the emerging dragon, and we're going good. And then it just did nothing and drifted down. And now the second position is at risk. So I got to get out of that. And if I'm going to get out of one, I just want to get out of the whole thing and take tomorrow as a fresh recovery. Now, what I like is the fact that after I got out, it showed some strength, so I'll be ready to get back in tomorrow. But I like not having any overnight risk, and I like being able to ring the bell and make bank. IP, I tried the emerging dragon entry and scratch. IYR, yesterday's SSC, which I hated, turned out to be 1, 2, 3. So whether I love them or hate them really has no significance. It's interesting to notice, and it's not even very interesting to notice. KRE started the SSC entry, and with a fraction in hand, just to amuse my brother. Lemonade up another 3% today. McDonald's, yesterday's second entry. This is how we're building that position. This one endured for 2.5 days, cleared the resistance, and moved up. So we got the second position, and today it's holding nicely, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on the first one, 1 on the second one. So we're holding 6R, and if this can break above, say, 289, then it has to get above 290, and if it gets above 291, it's long gone. So this one could be very nice, and we got 295 and 300 are in range, but it's got to get through this significant resistance there. So I'm liking that. Merck tried the Kata 2 and got out with a no lose plus dinner for 2. Microsoft. So I put the third position on this one. I think I'm just in love with these guys, and that's at an all-time high at 338. So I like the fact that we are postured to take advantage of a breakout. If it breaks out above here, look out above. And we've got some safety built in with the 1, 2, 3R on the first one, 2R on the second one, break even on the third one. So we're 5R in hand on 3 positions. So got to manage that one very carefully. I don't want to let a 3-position trade go negative. So we've got a little bit of cushion. But if this thing breaks, that could really be good. I'll put a 4th position on if it breaks above here, above 338. In fact, I may even double the position if it breaks above 338. That's how strongly. Marijuana, the continuation short today when it hit winter, and it just closed poorly, so we're +1. NVIDIA, yesterday's Kata 2, which I wasn't a big fan of. There was a gap up and it continued to go. I probably could have had a second position on, but I was content just to let the big horse run. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in hand on 1 position and ready to go. Now, because there's only 1 position on, I can tolerate that kind of a test of the PSAR. If I've got 2 positions on, like if I put the second position on here, then I have to get out here because I can't let a second position go negative and then start to destroy the gains of the first one. But because I've only got 1 position on, I can tolerate a little more relaxed support. It did come down and test, but it didn't kick us out. Clean energy, second day in the trade, it's crushing it. It's at about 6R and going. Rivian took an intraday 1R on the Emerging Dragon. This was nice because it had cleared this resistance level, and we got kind of like a higher low kind of going on. So took it. It ran up, but then when it rolled over, I said, you know what? I'll just take +1 and make bank on that. Ring the bell. Treasuries, no trade today. Tesla added the 3rd position. So this is just creeping along nicely. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one is +10. This one is +4. And this one is +2. So we have quietly built 16R on 3 positions, and it's pushing 260 now. U.S. Steel added the second one on the gap, and it maintained. That gap gave us all of the insurance that we need on this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's +8, and this one's +1. So we're at +9 on 2 positions, and if it breaks above, say, 23, I'll add the 3rd position up in here, and off it goes. U.S. Steel, a really nice recovery. If I look back a little bit, yeah, that's pretty nice legs up. Now, the nice thing is that you can see we can always go back and find these previous stair steps. This is almost like terrace, a terrace trading. So I can see these targets all the way up that are logical, and we're just building this thing step by step. Great industrial company, looking pretty good in U.S. Steel. So that was today's hybrid trading. This is AI. Now, this is a form of hybrid trading because we have the swing trade on it already, and I noticed intraday it had a micro gap, and it was just chugging along inside this little channel, and I noticed that it went fall, winter, spring, summer. And so I'm prepared to say, look, if it breaks, and it is now 90 minutes into the day. So if it was going to fail, it would have failed, and it didn't. So I'm ready to get long if it breaks to the upside from here, because I've already got a swing trade in it, and I already love it. So it does 3R battle drill, and then cash, because this is just a turbo trade. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's +4, and this one is about a scratch. So just picking up 4, and I'm already emotionally committed to it because I've been trading it as a swing trade. And so this is just a way to make a little bit of extra cash on something that I'm already managing. And then it resumes with a Kata 2, so why not? One position through the lunchtime. That's another +3. So just because we're paying attention to AI, here this is an opportunity trade. And then that's what turbo trading looks like. That is a hybrid of 30-minute swing and 3-minute intraday tactical. Check or hold. There was another one later in the afternoon. I had span of control issues and didn't get it. It might. The turbo has its own trade stop that's geared towards the 30-minute trade. So it has to get out of the 30-minute swing, it has to have a adverse price action that fails, on the 30 minutes. So if I go to AI and zoom into the 30-minute, this is one of those where I already had the swing from here. And then today, right around in this region in here, that's where that first day trade went on, which gave me +4. And then there was another one in here. So this gave me +4. And then this one gave me +3. So notice that this is a pretty wide stop. That's $1.25, right? And so the initial stop on this one is here, and then I got to get to here, and now I got to get to here. And then by the end of the day, I put that stop up to 41. So the exit here, which got me out of the turbo, and then the re-entry, and it got me out of the turbo here, those two exits are not even close to testing the swing trade. Now, if I had gotten out here and then that thing continued to cut down to here, then I'm out. Because I had already kept one of those pieces as a second swing trade. Right? So you want the exit geared towards evidence that the swing is not working, and this allows you to keep that longer. As long as this is still in play, that's good to go. And now these are just opportunities to make a little extra cash on something that you're managing anyway. You know what I mean? Now, I would not be offended if you decided that, you know what, this would have been a reasonable swing. Instead of taking it here and holding that overnight, I could imagine taking this and getting rid of both of those swing trades and just cash that and then hold no overnight risk. Because I don't know, what if this thing gaps down into here, then that would look really smart. If this thing gaps up, then that would look dumb. So we never know. So I was willing to just take the swing right here and then let the gap be whatever the gap is. Okay? Let's see. Gotta get back. I think we were on... yeah, so Mexico initiated the COD at 2. Brazil. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We've already gone through the swings, right? So that was the swing in the turbo. I'm sorry. I lost my brain for a second there. Shifting to the sectors. I had some questions from the foundations guys about, hey, how do you find the movers? Well, I'm tracking all of these on TC2000. And when I see things running to the top, I can see where the movers are. And it starts already with the gap. But today, you just notice how the whole sector moved together. Yesterday, when the metals were getting murdered, the fact that they were all murdered and at the down in the lower level means they were at an extreme sell-off. So today's outperformance isn't surprising, because the very fact that they got slaughtered yesterday creates conditions whereby they could have a good day, because it shakes out all the weak ones. And then the semiconductors, which mostly underperformed the market except for Intel, actually had a really good day. And then Devon Energy had a good day. So the 7 individual symbols that I always track all did better than the S&P. And here's the zero line between, the winners and losers. So these were all ones that lost. These were all ones that won. Here's the baseline of the market performance. I noticed I got the Qs, emerging markets, and technology. Every one of those is a growth, speculative, aggressive index. So the aggressive postures all outperformed the S&P, which outperformed the conservative Dow and the conservative treasuries. So this was a growth day. And tech was good, and semiconductors were better. But it wasn't just tech, it was also the metals. So there was some real broad strength today. But to me, Intel and NVIDIA and Tesla, just because Tesla, those are the first three things I'm going to look at tomorrow. And then the entire metals sector, because today was just the first day of recovery. But Tesla, for crying out loud. So you can use the 10-day location and these little daily performances to start helping you find those things that are leaning forward for more movement tomorrow that's above and beyond, right? So remember, when you have the broad market performance like this, with SPY in the middle and plus or minus 1 standard deviation, you care about the things that were exceptionally good today and were exceptionally bad today. Because tomorrow, all the things that were exceptionally good could have a continuation, or maybe there's profit taking. So there's a greater likelihood of a big move tomorrow for things that had big up moves today. And things that were slaughtered today may create value and may bring buyers in. So today's sell-off could lead to tomorrow's gains, or whatever caused this thing to get smashed, there may be a continuation trade again tomorrow. So these things that are stuck in the middle, there's nothing special. But things that are exceptionally good and exceptionally bad are postured for big moves in either direction. I just don't know which direction. And the same thing with things that are exceptionally bad. It could be up or down, but I start by looking at the things that are in abnormal because they're already in play. The only things I care about that are inside this normal are ones that have compressed to an abnormal volatility where it's so tight that there's nothing to see here. Except, as my brother says, except maybe. And then, if you can get a nice tight risk box around those, then you may get that surprise breakout from abnormal compression. That's where the Z3Ps and the super pinches that are stuck right in the middle of those trading ranges. Now, this is just looking at one day, but if I use that sniper mentality, remember I'm looking at a 10-day, I'm looking at a 30-day range, and I'm looking at a 150-day range so that I can get 3 different time frames reflected into where their locations and their volatility are. It's location plus volatility. A very simplified version of that is, what were the exceptional movers today? Like, I'm short marijuana and carried that overnight. Why? Because it got slaughtered. So in the last half an hour, that short is still working. I can look at this and say, marijuana is going to be the loser of the day. I wouldn't surprise me to see more people pile on. So I can hold that one overnight. Anyway, that's that. Now, I want to shift gears to another one. This is Intel. And these things are sleigh rides. So Intel, I was primed and ready to trade because it had been beaten down so bad yesterday and then consolidated here. And today it gapped up to here. And there's the OR3. And then the next bar, this thing starts collapsing. So I'm short, and I've got a standard risk box on it. Check or hold. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes down and joins the price where it was, and that would give me 2R on a gap fade. Check or hold. That's not a surprising move at all. In that same bar, it failed for a 1R loss. So I stop and reverse, and it fails immediately for another 1R loss. So now I'm short, because this is still a 2-to-1 trade. And in 2 bars, it gives me 2.5R and starts to reverse. So I cash it, and now I'm up 0.5 for the day. So now I'm at 0.5 net. Hold my breath and let it suffer for a while. Now I get a PSAR flip. It failed to fail further. The one effort to fail it immediately reversed back up into this channel. Now I got this nice tight channel. I get a PSAR flip with the RL10. Notice that the RL10 is what makes that break. Enter. risk. At its maximum favorable excursion, it's at +3. 1, 2, 3. And then about 2 bars later, it pulled back. So I cash it and then cash 2. So out of this whole morning excursion, I'm 2R. We're not even thinking about it. It's just putting chips down, getting cards, and playing the hand. Notice the power of the RL10 and the dragon and those PSAR flips. As I go through the day, I'm getting information about what's going on. Notice that it never came down into below the 0 line. This thing was summer, fall, summer. Let me say something about beliefs versus evidence. You know, sometimes we feel like we're in a hamster wheel and we're trying to go up that hill, and we got some beliefs, but I look at the beliefs and say, exactly why do I need beliefs? I would much rather have evidence to replace beliefs. Because from evidence, I can make tentative rules, and I can follow rules, and I don't need beliefs at all. Because evidence supersedes beliefs for me. Otherwise, if I invest a lot in my beliefs, and then I start seeing evidence that is contrary to the beliefs, who are you going to believe? You or your lying eyes? I believe evidence. Why do you even need the beliefs? Reduce the beliefs to the minimum. Now I'm in this hamster wheel, and I start taking action. Oh, I should have had that hamster wheel in there. Just a minute. Now notice that as I get past this boundary of beliefs, I'm hitting the wall. Those beliefs might be limiting me because I can't believe that I can go up that hill and I'm stuck here. So, but if I can start incorporating some evidence, now I'm starting to change. I'm getting new beliefs and new actions, and now I can start cruising up that hill, and now I'm gaining evidence and replacing beliefs. Oh, good. And I just roll back. And then if I stop making gains and start now beliefs start becoming more important. You see, I told you couldn't do that, says the beliefs. The heck with that. What we got to do is we have to learn how to create artifacts so that as we start getting up that hill, we use artifacts to lock in those gains. Let the hamster rest. And then as he starts cruising up that and gaining more evidence, our little backstop is no longer even into beliefs, but I've got evidence that I can ratchet this up and protect it. And at some point, the evidence is so strong that you can actually start converting your old beliefs to new beliefs on the basis of evidence. So what matters? What matters is evidence. What matters is the artifacts that allow you to lock in the discipline in order to let that hamster have a fighting chance. That's a little horsepower of your engine of change. And he's doing an awful lot of work. You got to help that guy get up the hill with the way that you lock in lock in your gains. Evidence. Trust the PSAR. It's your friend. So I don't spend a lot of time wondering where my beliefs came from. It comes from all the usual places. I only care about when I make tentative rules and I start following them in a risk-adjusted way. I care about the evidence. Do I even need to have a belief? No. The fewer beliefs I have, the better. If you convert evidence to beliefs, you've just invested in that. What did that give you? Did it make the evidence stronger because you believed in it? No. The evidence doesn't care if you believe in it or not. Your belief does not make the evidence stronger. Although people will act that way because they think past evidence and current beliefs, now if this thing starts going downhill, in spite of all your actions, and this thing starts going downhill, the fact that you've got beliefs, no, my beliefs based on evidence say this thing should be going up. No, it's going down. And now your beliefs, which are still in place because you've invested in them, and that's, you're not going to let go. You can let go of evidence a lot faster and give up beliefs. Are you going to wait for that thing to come all the way back down and go below zero before you start getting? No, you don't need those beliefs at all. In the strict domain of trading, the market is changing faster than you can change your beliefs. So don't invest in beliefs. Invest in evidence and better rules, and look for controverting evidence. Look for disconfirming evidence. Evidence is what matters. Evidence. And artifacts. The artifact, this thing, this wedge, is what keeps you from backsliding. And discipline anchors that. It's got to be strong enough to hold. Because that's what stops you from going back at the first sign of weakness and hesitation and all that. The thing that keeps you from backsliding is this wedge. The thing that stops you from rolling back. Because these seductive beliefs, you see, I know, no, you lock it in. That's what position sizing and risk management and Atomic Habits by James Clear, how to lock in and create those new behaviors. But I reject beliefs. So I don't go in for the psychology of exploring all those beliefs and all. I would rather let them go and spend the extra effort looking at evidence and rules. Because that leads to action. Beliefs leads to satisfaction because you have an explanation. So what? I want action, and I need evidence to support it.
That's what no lose plus dinner for two is. It's like,
Yeah.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. But you know what? I'm not going to lose more than this because I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Holy crap. If Ken has said it once, it's 1,000 times. This is great. Look at it go. Oh, it just stopped out.
Just lock it in and tap it. Put the protection in before you need it.
Rule number 2 in the sniper system. Put in your trade, put in your stop. Period. I don't want to hear anything else. Put it in the trade and I put it in my stop.
Here's Damien. 1, 2, 3. Cash. Cotta 2. Cash. 2R.
You can feel your loss, Damien, but you don't. Remember that the market is just going to give you what it's going to give you. Your loss is not Damien. It's, hey, I put in my things. If you can answer that question saying, hey, I followed my rules and I did it this way, and the trade went against me, okay. Did you do everything you could do to make that trade successful and the market still went against you? Okay. You have a coin flip. I flipped the coin in the air, then I caught it and it went against me. Okay, flip another coin. You got to get to there. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ken.
Yeah. So, Damien, I'd like you to think about the power animal of a rhino, right? There's a lot of birds, those the birds that eat bugs, and there's antelopes that are very flighty and nervous, and a bird lands on them and it startles them and off they go because they get, oh, what was that? But a rhino just says, look it, dude, you can't get through my skin, and the little snakes that want to try to bite me, doesn't matter. You can't even penetrate my skin. So a rhino, he just cruises around and chews the grass because he's developed a thick skin, and so he doesn't even have to worry about snakes and birds. So the zero state, remember, is past, present, and future, and then it is joy versus despair. There's some area inside here where you are properly in the present moment that allows you to just act without overthinking it. And so for me, mine is slightly up and to the right. Like, I'm not at a perfect no feeling. No, I'm actually slightly aggressive and happy because I'm trading well and I'm in the zone. And I have a slight forward orientation of about 5 bars because I'm anticipating where this thing is going, because the actions I just took were correct, and now my orientation is about 5 bars ahead looking for the next play, and I'm slightly optimistic. So for me, the zero state is when I'm perfectly in flow, and that's not without feeling. It's awareness of losses and gains and all that, but not obsessively, because that's how I'm making the gains and losses are helping me find what's working, what's not working. But it's just information. It's not pain that makes me change my behavior and violate my rules, because I have a thick enough skin to stop I don't feel any pain from it. It's just information. Wins and losses now are just information, which are used to make better decisions. They are not causing me pain that I can feel because I have developed calluses and a thick skin with my rhino mentality so that I can just do what rhinos do. That's where endurance comes from. So what we can learn from the rhino is how to develop an indifference in the moment to gains and losses that are well within our system as the expected system, taking less than ones, minus ones. That develops a thick skin of indifference. You notice it, you account for it, you act on them, but you don't fear them, and you don't go deep into, oh, what does that mean? No, it means it was a +1 or a -1. That's all. And that leads, I have rules that help me make decisions. The rhino's got to make decisions, and he can't be bothered by trivia. That's what that thick skin, that's what I mean about continuing to trade and getting evidence and information about what works, and not dwelling on beliefs from the past that explain why things aren't going to work. Give me evidence. Follow the rules and gather the evidence and shift the rules towards what's working. And then develop the thick skin of a power animal, the rhino, to just keep going.
Yeah, the difference between your two trades that he has up here on the screen is the first one, you hardly gave anything back. Get that second trade I mean, get to a point where you say, you know what, I'm just not going to accept more than a half an hour loss,
And he
right?
did fine on that. But this one
He
gave
did
you
fine
one
on that.
bar up. It opened, it ran up, and you came down and you cut it, and
What
you
more do you
locked in
want?
+1. So there's
It,
+2.
you
That's
did
+2
beautiful.
for the day in 60 minutes. Not even in 20 minutes.
What do you
Go
want?
golfing. Go
Yeah,
golfing.
put that in your, because you talked, we do listen to you, Damien, and you said the other week, hey, I have to write down in Ken's format the journal. Just journal that. Say, hey, you know what? I made 2 hour in 20 minutes. I went outside. I journaled that, and then I went outside and I gardened.
There's your journal.
There it
And,
is.
and now I want you to think about the zero state. It's not the absence of loss. It's not the absence of fear. It's not the no. It is the accommodation. It's finding out where you are in that bubble that allows you to act with indifference to the individual little mosquitoes that are biting, because you have a thick skin that realizes that's just data, because I'm trading at a level of risk that allows me to simply accumulate data. And then my rules allow me over time to have more winners and losers, and the winners are bigger than losers, and that shifts my equity
Yeah.
curve to the upside.
If you have the same number of winners and losers, but your winners are bigger than your losers, you win.
Yeah, if it's a coin flip
Point
that
seven
pays
versus
2 to
point 3.
1 all day.
Do it
So
every
that's what I
time.
want to say about that.
Sorry.
Devon Energy. So here's Tim. OR3 gets paid. Short. It failed to fail further, and it timed out at the edge of the dragon. 1.4. Perfect. Alcoa. Gap up. OR3 gets paid 2.3. Continuation cuts it. Shorts it. 1.5. AMD. Oops, I'm sorry. AMD. There was an OR3. He said, oh, I could have shorted that. Oh, I could have shorted it when a PSAR flipped. He finally shorts it when it gets below yesterday's VWAP. Shorts, gets paid. Quick cut, long gets paid. 1, total 4 for the day. Let's see. There's the open. Oh. And then cut it. Oh. So short gets paid. Now you say it's not even a pattern. I don't know. It's breaking below the low of the day. It's below the Bollinger Band mean. I'm not offended. I like this better as a short, but I could live with that. You cut it quick, except it lost 1.3, so that there's something wrong in that. Um, so this is supposed to fail right away, and we tolerated 4 bars and lost 1.3. So that's the mistake. The pattern, I'm not so sure. I don't see that as a problem. I see that as an effort that it would have. Look, if it breaks the Bollinger Band mean, the next logical target is here, and if that was your risk, There's 2-1. I'm not offended by that. I'm offended that it takes 4 bars to get out of it when it never moved in your favor. The things that are out of critical states are supposed to move in your favor right now. This is a good cut. That's better. If you take that same trade here, that pays off. That's the difference between beliefs and evidence. I believe it's going to work. What's the evidence? Is it working? All right, this one breaks here. You got the fill here. It reversed, and you probably exited here. Or you got long here and it cut here. I think this was a short that didn't work. Re-entered the short after stopped out. So that, okay, so, I see that. Okay, I got it. So this was short, cut it, then it came back down, so you re-entered the short, got paid a fraction, and then the PSAR flip got paid, and then that one was 1.3. So, okay. So that's at net about 0.7. Got it. Two quick scratches. Not really, 0.84. When you added up the other. So today's total was 0.8. A lot of trading in this sideways quiet channel here. And Hamad, I still think like you're trying to make this thing work. OR3 cut, re-entered. This cut was better. So it had 2 efforts to go and it didn't. Why aren't we should be short here? Look at, I mean, Jiminy Crickets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you give back 1, you're out somewhere here on a 1, 2, 3. That makes the entire difference of the day. And then this one, we waited for, here's what I'm going to say. Look, this thing is such an exaggerated move down. Look where this is. Well below the Red River. Winter, it goes into the spring. So we could already be thinking about a 1, 2, 3 here. And here was the low. So if you put a standard risk box, you know, a move like this, it goes up and then a big down and it starts to reverse. If my risk box was this big and it didn't work and this failed, and then it came here and failed and gives a risk box off the bottom, I think that's sort of normal. And then the midpoint is here. And if I got 1, 2, 3 to the upside, I can just get 50% retracement and I'm good to go. So that's what this opportunity was. Some advanced techniques. But PSAR flip, or the PSAR break, cut, re-entered. Good short, good scratch. Just committed to making them work. So you're getting some playing time here, I would say. This is the best short ever, and I want to explain why. Because you've had a compression of the Z lines into here. Peak, 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 and now it breaks down below the collapsing dragon. That's the best short of all. Because all it has to do is get below this, and it's supposed to fail big. Now, it did accelerate for 3 bars, and we don't know that it's only going to get that low. But on that short, I don't know that I want to let it come all the way back to here. Like, I think at this point, you got to look at money management, and you got to turn all this choppy trading into money. So when you get a sense of where am I in the money flow for the day and be relentless on that, you'll see that as a short and want to get paid. And then you won't give back that much. And then this is late. I think we should be around in here. I could even support that. This is a great short for the same reason that we still have this series of lower lows. Look, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could be short here with justice. Microsoft. Kind of an OR3, doesn't work. When that breaks, at new low of the day, smash. I like this one, cut it. I like that one, cut it. I'm ready to be short on that one, like you are. That's good. When this does not fail, and this is Microsoft, why not? That's supporting the long side. That's still pretty good. I like the re-entries, but I think we got to be more decisive in here. Don't wait for confirmation. Go when you're more uncertain earlier. I think you still are caring what the results are on the individual trades, as opposed to playing them and see them. Poker players are mucking 70% of those hands. OR3, if I'm short here, I'm going to get paid. Quick cut. This short quick cut, stop and reverse, that's excellent. Got paid. Quick cut, stayed out of the chop, that's excellent. Now, this gives you the first time that changed after this compression was this. You're not wrong if you take that, but then when it doesn't come out of that, you got to scratch and then stop and reverse here, and then you get the fake one go to. But you got to take that, because sometimes those will just go. And then you're waiting to see, well, when can I get in and readjust, and then you'll be chasing forever. So you got to take the fake. And you don't even know it's a fake. It just it turns out it didn't fail. When it comes back after 5 bars to break even, you just get out and then just immediately reverse, because you think fake one, go to. OR3, you won't lose money on that trade. COTA 2, you won't lose money on that trade. Z3 pinch, you'd have to be pretty sharp to get like maybe a collapsing dragon here, but you wouldn't lose money on it. I like that short because it's the second leg down, quick cut, and now a great entry. Could have, but still good, and then that's great. That's really great. And then that's really great. Dude, you were net positive for the day because you keep firing, and then when they pay off big. So that's pretty sharp. AMD is smaller market cap than Intel, so maybe it moves in bigger legs. Nice. Net positive for the day. Let's see. Stand by. Okay, sorry about that delay. I thought I had that open. It doesn't get any better than bull quiet, all green, green bullish, strong ADX trend. Risk on is showing favorable, abnormal good volatility for the long side. Everything is good on this. Even Intel is now on the strong side with Walmart. All things bright and beautiful. Everything going up. Nothing in an auto framer status. Strength in Tesla, Nvidia, Caterpillar. I mean, what do you want? And Nucor Steel. I mean, what do you want for a signal to be long? How about every other ETF in the world kept playing catch up? Nothing on an auto framer except oil, which is a cyclic. I mean, even clean energy and metals and mining are going up strong. But look at all the things hitting 6-month highs. The only auto framer is oil. This is really strong, though. Look at this. McDonald's and DIA are pinched. Bang, when they go. This was a big range day up in Tesla. DIA is pinched. Hardly any Godzillas at all. The only ones are VXX, the anti-volatility, Target, and Campbell's Soup. Oracle had a big day, a 5 sigma day. This is all tech right there. Adobe, Oracle. Metals crushing it. Semiconductors, Tesla crushing it. Small caps, emerging markets, and tech crushing it. And the S&P up a reasonable amount, leaving the conservative Dow and Treasuries behind. That's evidence. All greens, mostly summer, usual suspects. Marijuana, clean energy, Devon, Tesla. It's evidence, guys. You don't even need beliefs. I believe I'm going to trade. That's what I believe. All right, that's everything I got for you. We'll get this published and posted. I'm going to separate. I'm going to pull out that little piece about the actions, beliefs, and evidence. That one is really important. All right, take good care, guys. I can go out and bundle up a bunch of tree branches I trimmed today now that it's cooler. So it never, the branches will not bundle themselves.
Oh. Hey,
Yeah.
are you writing the 2-hour battle thing or
Yeah,
am
you write it. I'm going to send you another piece in a paragraph, but you can already say it as well as I can.
I? Okay.
Ciao.
Just wanted to confirm.
I just want to get it in the editor's hands. Let's go.
Yep. Ciao for now.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.